Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. On this channel we share legal information and legal resources to help you understand the law and know your rights. On today's topic, I want to share with you how you can register a church, a mosque, or an NGO or an association as an incorporated trustee. If you want to know how to register an incorporated trustee, or you want to know the requirements that are involved in registering an incorporated trustee, or the time frame, or rather still you just want to understand what an incorporated trustee actually is, you want to watch this video to the end. But please, if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and put on your notification bell. Each time I post a video, you get notified. What is an incorporated trustee? An incorporated trustee is a non-business or a not-for-profit making organization that is formed by a group of people known as trustees. Those trustees are bound by religion, they are bound culture or tribe or educational or sports or scientific developments. What is the requirement for registering an incorporated trustee? The first and most important requirement is the name. You have to have a good name. Now the CAC gives you the option of having at least 3 name options, so you need to think of a name that best describes the incorporated trustee. So in case option A doesn't work, option B will work. If option B doesn't work, then you still have option C, and those names must have what we call qualifiers. A qualifier can be a body, center, association, foundation, it can be assembly, it can be outreach, it can be ministries, it can be center. Now for example, I want to register an incorporated trustee and I have decided that the name is Life is Sweet. I can now say, okay, Life is Sweet Foundation, or Life is Sweet Association, or Life is Sweet Center, or Life is Sweet Ministries. Or another example is if I want to register Big Boys, for instance, I can now say Big Boys Club or Big Boys Society or Big Boys Center, whatever the case or whatever qualifier you choose to use. The essence of that is so that I can differentiate it from a limited liability company or a business name. Another requirement is you need to know who the trustees will be. You need to have a list of the trustees, and then the trustees and their particulars, that's their names, their addresses, their email address, their occupation, their valid ID card, which in this case it used to be any valid ID card, but now it is now your NIN. So you need to have their NIN ID card, their passport photographs, and their signatures. And you must note that the trustees cannot be below the age of 18, so they cannot be minors, they have to be adults, so they cannot be less than 18 years. I think the legal age in Nigeria is 18, so they have to be above the age of 18, and they have to be of sound mind at the time of registering the incorporated trustee. And then another requirement is you need to know the address, the place or where members will be holding, either it is annual or monthly or weekly meetings, whatever they decide. You need to know the address, and the address has to be a traceable address. Now if you don't understand what a traceable address is, I'll explain. In some cases I've had situations where clients will send me an address that is, maybe they'll say behind police station or behind the market or behind the station. That is not a traceable address. It has to be, for instance, my address is number 1 Bameke Street. That is a traceable address. So you have to make sure that the address is something that is easily traceable. Another requirement is the constitution. The incorporated trustee must have a constitution. So the constitution contains the aims and objectives of the incorporated trustee, what they intend to do or whatever their object or their business is. It must also contain all the names of all the trustees, the chairman, the secretary, how they intend to raise money, either by donations or by registration of members, who should be in possession of the common seal, and who should be the signatory of their account, where they want their monies to be kept, how they intend or how long the tenure of the trustees will be, their governing or executive council, and also to basically know the activities of the incorporated trustee. That's what the constitution contains. After you have gathered all your documents, you know who your trustees are, you have your constitution, you have the name of the incorporated trustee, it is now time to commence registration. Now, the first stage is to apply for the Registrar General's consent. It's not like other businesses that you have to just apply for the name availability straightforward. In this case, you need to apply for the Registrar General's consent to register the incorporated trustee. So you apply for the consent and then you pay the fees and then you submit it. Now, what they do is that they review your application, check the constitution, check the members to ensure that you have complied to all the requirements and all your objects are in line with the law and in line with their own requirements for registering an incorporated trustee. Once they have done that, they will now approve the incorporated trustee for registration, and this might take 2 days, it can take 3 days, it can take even a week. After you have gotten your approval, the next stage is to put a notice on 2 national daily newspapers. Now, that notice is meant to last for 28 days. And that notice, you have to put the approved name of the incorporated trustee, you have to put the names of all the trustees, and at least one main aim and objective of the incorporated trustee, and then you put it on notice in 2 national daily newspapers for 28 days. Now, that 28 days notice is to inform the general public that this incorporated trustee is seeking to be registered, and these are their aims and objectives and their members. So in case anybody has any objection in the space of that 28 days, they can apply to the Corporate Affairs Commission and raise their objection why the incorporated trustee should not be registered. Assuming there is no objection and the 28 days has elapsed, you will now have to commence your registration fully. So you have your newspaper publication, you have your approval, and then you need to also have the trustees declaration signed by all the trustees with their passport photographs sworn to by a notary public or signed in a court by the commissioner for oaths. You also need to attach the minutes of meeting, indicate which members were present, which members were absent, how they voted for the chairman and the secretary. You must also include an application and all the forms, the required forms for the trustees, and then include the constitution and then the ID of all the trustees and their passport photographs, and then you submit it to the Corporate Affairs Commission and pay the statutory fees. Once you do that, the waiting begins, and then if your application is approved, you now have an incorporated trustee. The registration of an incorporated trustee can take at least 6 weeks. So I said at least 6 weeks because it can be more, but the least time it can take is 6 weeks, together with the application for consent, name availability, and the 28 days publication, the mandatory 28 days publication. You cannot skip that. You must wait for 28 days before you fully submit your application for registration and approval. Okay guys, we have come to the end of this video, and I hope this video was helpful to you. If you haven't already subscribed, you know what to do. Hit the subscription button and put on a notification bell so each time I post a video you get notified. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. If you have a question, you can leave it in the comment section so I can see it and respond to your question. So until I see you guys next time, have a wonderful day.